All right, all right, all right. Welcome, welcome. Greetings from Grandpa Hoppy. This is my first ever episode of YouTube. Welcome. This is the Retirement Chronicles. What's my purpose? Why am I here? I've had several people, including both my sons, said I needed to start a YouTube. I don't know, maybe to share things that I've experienced in the last few years as I started my retirement journey. So I thought about it and I said, I probably wouldn't have 10 people listen to me, but that's okay. 10 people listen. Feel like I have something to share as I've gone through the last 5 years in retirement, over 5 years actually. And so anyway, I thought I'd share some things about my retirement, maybe continue sharing if it's the need is there. Right now I'm keeping my grandson. I took my granddaughter to school this morning at 7:30 and I didn't take my grandson to daycare. Many things that I do, but this particular day I'm keeping my grandchildren. So where did all this start? Well, it all started when I was 57 years old, and I retired early, a little earlier than most people, and it took a while to get there. What brought me to an early retirement? I had this friend that had recently retired. His name is Andy, and this was 5 years ago, or 6 years ago actually. Before I retired, maybe a year before I retired. So it may have been 7 years ago. I had this friend that retired. His name was Andy, and I have known him a long life friend. Actually, I had worked with him years previous, and I hadn't worked with him, for 20 years, but previous to that, I had worked with him. I also was friends with him, and not only knowing him on a professional basis, but I knew him as a personal basis. We had shared some just life instances together through different things personally, and became friends with him, close friends with him. And he told me that, Walter, he said, I said, I wanted to retire, and I felt like I needed to retire because I had a lot of other things I wanted to do, and I just never had the time. I had been working, 50, 55 hours a week, and then I always had part-time jobs. And that comes to I want to at every end of every session that I have, episode, if I have many, but I'm the former almost everything. And what I mean by that, if I've done so many things in life, and I'm not going to sit here and bore you with all the things that I've done at once, but at the end of the episode, I'll share about 2 or 3 things that I'm a former so-and-so or former this. And I'll do that at the end of the episode if you want to wait long enough to hear to the end. And I'm going to share 2 or 3 things of what I used to be or what I've done in the past. But again, I had always had other things I did other than my full-time job, and that I worked on the side my whole lifetime. And so I told Andy, I said, man, I need to retire like you did, but I'm so connected to my job. I feel like I don't know anything else because I stayed in the same job for almost 39 years. And he said, Walter, Grandpa Hoppy, as I'm known now, not so much 7 or 8 years ago, but he said, Walter, he says, 6 months after you retire, I know you're committed. I know you've been doing this for so long, and you just cannot see yourself anything outside of that. He said, but I felt the same way. But literally 6 months after I retired, it was all gone. That had passed me by. Those thoughts had left me, and life went on in the future, and I didn't have a regret from leaving what I had left. And he told me that, and I really didn't understand it until after it happened. It really did happen. exactly like he had said it. And we were a lot alike. We were committed to our job faithfully. And it wasn't the money, that's for sure. But it was our identity for both of us. And he was right. It only took about 6 months. And I didn't have a second thought when I woke up in the morning. The old passed by and the new was in front of me. So that's what brought me to an early retirement, of being able to get there. I had people like him in my life to kind of share positive things of my friend's Andy's story. But the first thing I want to say about retirement, one of the most valuable things that retirement is when you get older. One of the most valuable things in your life, outside of monetary things, but one of the most valuable things is actually time. Time is most valuable. There's pros and cons about retiring, and I'll just share a few things. Maybe if I do another episode, we'll do more pros and cons. I'll start with a con. One of the cons of retirement, I got paid weekly, and so that thought and the con, and it is a con. It was a stability that I had. Look, fortunate for me, I've been married for a long time, so I had my wife that was continuing to work. But for me personally, I had that weekly check every day, every week, weekly check, and so that is one of the cons. Is money. Money is one of the things. One of the pros would be the time. So where one is a con and one is a pro. Of course, you have your insurance. You think of that if you have a job that has insurance and had been on that insurance for years, 39 years, same insurance. The good thing about, for me personally, is my wife was continuing to work. So I got to be on her insurance, both of us, for the first time, leaving my insurance, going to her job's employer's insurance. But one of the pros would be your relationships. You're able to have seek out different kinds of relationships when you have that more time on your hands. Your relationships become deeper because you don't have so much of a commitment to your identity of the job you're in. One of the other cons is you have an identity change, and that can be very abrasive because you all of a sudden, your life has changed drastically of who you are every day. Another pro would be your health. Your health can actually get a whole lot better. You'll have more choices with your time invested. So I had a physical job, so the physicality and the hard daily routine I had was no longer on my joints, and so I didn't have those pains. I remember the summers is what hurt me the most, not the winters, the summers, the heat, the 100 to 95 degree heat all day long in the elements. So my health actually, your health can be a pro because you have more time to invest in your health, go to doctor visits, maybe do physical activities. Another pro would be your new beginnings, new relationships, new jobs, new time to do whatever you want to do. And another con would be you kind of cross a professional finish line, and for your old life to your new life. So those are just a few pros and cons about the Retirement Chronicles. So I don't want to go long today, and I want to just say welcome to the Retirement Chronicles. I'm going to try to do 2 or 3 of these a week, maybe just to try to start this episode and to get our relationship. And I'd like you to make comments on something you might want me to talk about in the future. I'm just going to make notes. I have my own stories after stories after stories. And I'll venture not just retirement things, but I'll venture into just my life history too. Don't want to get too boring with just retirement things, but the main purpose of this YouTube would be for people my age. So again, I retired at 57. I am now 63 years old and been in retirement over 5 years. And I want to try to share my experiences and my struggles and benefits of my early 5 years of early retirement. So to give you a farewell from Grandpa Hoppy's, I'm former cowboy, former cowboy, delivery guy, and former fireman. So those are three things that were in my life, and that still is really my identity. From Grandpa Hoppy, until next time, love and blessings from the Retirement Chronicles.